All right, there we go. So welcome. This is an open house for the Department of Communication, Mobility, and Identity. Our department offers 3 master's courses in migration studies, in interdisciplinary gender studies, and in multimedia journalism. So this is a chance for, and we're of course having this session live now, but we'll also be posting it on YouTube. So this is a chance for anyone who might be curious about these programs to learn a bit more about them, and also to hear from a few of our alumni about their experiences on the programs. At the end, if anyone wants, if others join, you can of course you'll have a chance to ask any questions you might have about the program. Maybe just to start, to do some brief introductions for the faculty who are here. So I'm Cory Rodgers. I'm an assistant professor of migration studies. I'm an anthropologist, and I work on a number of issues related to human mobility and migration. One strand of my research looks at humanitarian responses to displacement and how they affect targeted communities. The other strand of my research looks at the importance of mobility, the ability to move as a normal and necessary part of human life, and the ways that laws and policies tend to restrict and prevent such movement. So I've done a lot of research on what I call sedentist policies, and especially the ways that they restrict the mobility of pastoralists who rely on this kind of mobility for their livelihoods. Dr. King, would you like to maybe go next?
Yep. Okay, cool. So hi, welcome to LEU campus. Maybe some of you are tuning in from campus. Maybe some of you haven't been to campus before, but please come and see us if you haven't. The Communication, Mobility, Identity Department is housed in SFA, Safadi Fine Arts, 511. So if there's any questions that you have in follow-up to today's session, please come visit us. So my name is Dr. Gretchen King. I am an associate professor at LEU, where I've been teaching and researching since 2018. My research is largely focused on media, but it intersects with both gender and migration. So I think that all of us do very interdisciplinary research, and my research on media has looked at problems of representation concerning migrants, concerning gender, in everything from news media to advertising. Lately, I've been researching chatbots and anti-Palestinian media bias that gets produced by chatbots. So I have to say that we have a very vibrant and busy research hub, and we're definitely doing research that is groundbreaking. And I'm very proud of that. So I hope you have a chance to join us here at LEU and benefit from this very active research community. Thanks.
Thanks, Gretchen. Zina, would you like to go next? Dr. Zina Salaf?
Hi, everybody. My name is Zina Sawaf. I'm an assistant professor of gender studies. I'm an anthropologist by training. A lot of my research has been around women and family and divorce cases in Saudi Arabia. And I'm still trying to put out some research on that topic. Yeah, and that's it. I also have written about anthropology in Lebanon. And yeah, I'm really excited to see who we have here with us today, interested in our MA programs.
Thanks, Zina. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started. To begin, I'm going to hand over to Dr. King, the chair of our department, for an overview about our programs. So she'll go over the kinds of pathways you can take through these programs, what you can expect, what resources and facilities you would have access to here at LAU, scholarship and financial aid options, and of course, how to apply. And after that, we'll hear from a few of our alums, and then we'll open up for any questions or discussions you might have, if you have any questions. So with that, I'll hand over to Dr. King for an overview of the programs.
So welcome to this Graduate Open House online. We look forward, as I said, to introducing you to our programs today. We do have 3 MA programs housed in the Communication, Mobility, and Identity Department. This includes the MA in Interdisciplinary Gender Studies, the MA in Migration Studies, and the MA in multimedia journalism. I'm going to show you the similarities and the differences between these three programs. If you want to go to the next slide, please. So here we have all three programs, and you can see the major difference in credit load is by 2 credits. So interdisciplinary gender studies is 30 credits, migration studies 30 credits, multimedia journalism 32 credits. All of these courses, all of these programs, if you don't have a background in gender studies, meaning not a BA nor a minor in gender studies, nor a closely associated field, sociology or political science. Same with migration studies. If you don't have a background in sociology, political science, maybe social work, or a minor in migration studies, then you might have to do remedials. Same thing for multimedia journalism. If you don't have a BA or a minor in journalism or a closely related field, you might have to do remedials. And so the number of remedials is program dependent. In interdisciplinary gender studies and migration studies, there are only 3 courses, and they're different courses for both programs. And then in multimedia journalism, there's 4 courses that make up the remedials. All 3 of these MA programs have core courses. The core course that's in common across all 3 that we've been teaching from an interdisciplinary approach, with newly revised methods, including activist research methods, is taught by Dr. Rodgers to journalism, migration, and gender students. So it's an interdisciplinary research methods course. You're still able to focus on your specific, field-specific research methods, but Dr. Cory takes you through both qualitative and quantitative in an interdisciplinary setting. So that course, you study with gender majors, you study with migration majors, study with journalism majors in that seminar. The theories course are program specific. So we have a theorizing gender course, we have a theories of migration course, and we have a media theory and digital culture course. Those are part of the core courses for each of the respective programs. In interdisciplinary gender studies, there's a thesis or a project and internship track. In migration studies, there's only a thesis option, and you could potentially do an internship, but it would be part of your elective courses. And then in multimedia journalism, there's a bigger package of core courses. And that package, in addition to the theory course I mentioned, the research methods course I mentioned, does include either a thesis or a project option. Everyone does an internship, but if you do a thesis option, you do a research internship. If you do a project option, you do a professional internship. Everyone takes a course called digital innovation, hence the name multimedia journalism. And then everyone does a course in media education and pedagogy. And this is because many of the people who graduate with MAs in Lebanon in journalism end up teaching. And so, and also building on expertise in the program in media education pedagogy, in media literacy, we have this as a core course. In addition to that, the journalism course also the journalism program has labs that are specific and required, that are more the practical side of the journalism program. So across all 3 programs, you can see that there are elective requirements. In interdisciplinary gender studies, there's 6 elective courses. So these are courses that you get to pick and choose which elective courses you want to take. And in most of our programs, we have some cross-listed courses. So for example, Dr. Sawaf is teaching a course this semester on gender migration and social reproduction. So it includes a focus on gender and migration. In fact, next semester, Dr. Jasmine Diab will be teaching a course called Gender and Migration. So again, using the lens of migration studies to think about gender. And so this kind of interdisciplinarity in our program, in our department, is represented sometimes in elective courses that we offer. So if you want to see the elective options, you can see them on the catalog, and I'll show you that in just a second, where you can see the study plan and access the elective courses. So I had mentioned the elective courses are 6 for interdisciplinary gender studies, 6 for migration studies, and only 3 to 4 for the multimedia journalism MA, and that depends on if you're in the thesis or the professional track. I have to say too that for graduate school and MA programs, typically the courses are scheduled in the evening, and this is because a lot of our MA students might be working Basically classes would be scheduled in evening seminars, 5 to 7:30, but remedial courses often would be held earlier in the day. So just keep that in mind if you have to do remedials. Can we see the next slide, please, Cory? So this is the IGS study plan, and you can see the QR code and the catalog link here. This is where you can go and see, well, what are the different types of elective courses? So basically you would click on courses and you could look at all the courses offered in interdisciplinary gender studies. This recommended study plan shows you how to complete the program within 2 years. And when, for example, would you register thesis or project? And this is typically in the year 2 of your program. And that's the same if we go to the next slide. For the migration studies program. So this is also the study plan, and you see that you would register thesis in the 2nd year of the program. And both the interdisciplinary gender studies and the migration study plan, we have theories and research methods in the 2nd semester of the 1st year. So this study plan, again, helps you succeed through the program. Cory, did you want to say something here?
Sure, I'll just, am I muted? No, I'm good. Just note that we offer a number of electives. They do change from year to year. We have a course on transnationalism and citizenship. We have another elective course, which Dr. Diab teaches on politics and gender. Migration and gender, rather. We have a migration and politics course. And one other course that I recently started offering is on refugee and displacement studies. So there are a number of elective courses. They're always sort of developing and evolving, and we're trying to be also responsive, of course, to what's going on in Lebanon and in the region as we develop these.
And I would also add Dr. Diab's course on refugees and international law. I think that some people are not familiar that the migration studies program also includes an emphasis on refugee studies. And so that's really important to include. And same for the gender studies program, there's also an emphasis on studies of sexuality, for example. And because of the interdisciplinarity of our department and our work, we've also had people graduate with degrees in migration and degrees in gender, but they've studied media. So for example, Dr. Sawaf supervised a thesis on the dehumanization of Palestinian men in Western media as a gender scholar, and I sat on that committee and as a committee member for the thesis as a media studies scholar. So we're really well equipped in the department to supervise interdisciplinary research, as well as field-specific research. So if we go to the next study plan for multimedia journalism, here's where you can see we have 2 different study plans. And this is because after year 1, you need to make a decision on if you're going to continue in the research track, meaning you intend to register a thesis, or if you're going to continue in the professional track. So basically, we've outlined that year 1 is pretty much the same for both tracks, but it's year 2 that really looks different in the fact that you're registering thesis or project, or you're completing a research apprenticeship or a professional apprenticeship. And so you have the catalog here, and the QR code will take you there if you want to see the courses available for multimedia journalism. So next slide, please. So we have access to resources. This is something that a lot of graduate students typically want to know about is, okay, if I study at LEU, what kind of resources can I benefit from in my studies? So not only is there the library as a resource with plenty of space, I know many graduate students who practically live in the library, but plenty of study space, and also softwares, and including many tools that support you in researching, in preparing literature reviews and researching for literature reviews. We also have access to tools like our journalism lab, which is also equipped with SPSS software, which is also equipped with editing software, which is also equipped with PSP software, which is an open source version of SPSS. I know that our research methods professor, Dr. Cory Rodgers, also uses qualitative softwares. I think In Vivo you were using for a while, Cory?
Yes, might be switching to Atlas now, but
okay. But just to give you a sense that these softwares are available through LAU, and whether we can make them available to you directly, because maybe it might be open source, free software, we can also, if not, buy licenses for the lab so that you can use such softwares in the lab. So we have access to labs that you can do research in. And we also have access to equipment. So for example, if you need to record or document, because we have some students who are using multimedia methods for their research as part of their research methods. Some people are interested in visual research methods. So for example, we just had a seminar with Dr. Jasmine in the Institute for Migration Studies on visual research methods. And so in order to do that, you might need multimedia equipment. So of course we have access to that equipment. And of course that would be extremely beneficial for multimedia journalism majors, especially in terms of the practical courses. So LEU has you covered when it comes to equipment and access to resources like research software, and of course, a very lovely and quiet library to work in.
I'll also just add that for the research methods course, I try to introduce you to some of the tools that are really useful that are in the labs that you can use to do your analysis for your research. I also try to teach some techniques that can be used without that software in case you find yourself doing research later without access to those licenses. So there are ways to do qualitative coding and research and stay organized without those softwares. So I try to teach and prepare you to be able to do research with and without those specific tools. But while you're at LAU, if they're there, you might as well learn to use them.
Perfect. More experience, the better. Next slide, please. So this is us. This is our lovely Department of Communication, Mobility, and Identity. Our department embraces interdisciplinary education. You can see that in terms of the diverse backgrounds and experience. The common things that unite us as a department is our interest in culture, media, and politics. We offer a range of methods that we expose you to in terms of research, but also theoretical approaches. And we can prepare you for a future career path, whether it's going to be more of a professional career path or an academic career path. So even doing a thesis in migration studies might send you on a professional career path rather than an academic career path. So each of these programs can set you up professionally or academically. I have to emphasize that we do have some recognized scholars from the region in our department as well. Dr. Diab, Dr. Melki, myself, we rank in the top 500 scholars publishing and being cited in the region for the work that we're doing. All of our faculty are research active. All of them have diverse research interests. The best way to get to know our faculty is to read their profiles on our website or just organize a meeting with them if you want to find out more about their interests. Next slide, please. We also have a number of institutes who are affiliated with the department. I already mentioned the Institute for Migration Studies that organizes seminars and workshops. We also have the Institute for Media Research and Training. We just conducted a workshop on critical AI media literacy, and we offered certificates upon completion. So workshops can include benefits like earning a certificate. We also have the Arab Institute for Women, who is affiliated with us and is very active on campus and in the community. So these institutes are an opportunity for you to get involved on campus, but also in research, because all of these institutes are involved in ongoing research projects. So you can benefit from these kinds of extracurricular opportunities offered through the institutes to find out what's happening on campus, even to attend events, even before you're a student, just to check out campus and to check out these institutes and what they're doing. You can follow our socials, and I have both our X and our Instagram accounts linked here, but basically it's CMI_LAU, and you can find us both on Instagram and X. Next slide, please. This is the most important slide, and I saved it for last. We have funding at LAU. We will support your education, and that can include upwards of a full scholarship. Applying to the GRS does have specific requirements, but it does offer 100% tuition waiver and a stipend. You have to have a certain GPA. You have to commit to only working on your research and your studies. There's a requirement that you have to publish before you graduate. There's also some other specific requirements according to the scholarship. So I please invite you to check out this link or just search LEU Financial Aid Graduate to find this page and find out more about the Graduate Research Scholarship. They are limited. They're not given to everybody. It's a highly competitive process. But do note that in addition to this very nice scholarship program that comes from LEU, we also have graduate assistantship and graduate research fellowships. So the graduate assistantship and graduate research fellowships are usually tied to your GPA and your research productivity. So if you're a new student, it's your incoming GPA, and it can potentially go up if your GPA goes up, and it can also potentially go down if your GPA goes down. So the tuition waiver can be partial to full, which means that if someone comes in with a 4.0 from LAU, they could potentially be looking at a full tuition waiver. And this is also benefits you because this graduate assistantship and research fellowship also comes with the expectation that you would be doing academic related work. So this can range from research to other types of academic work as well. I think Cory's going to take us to the application page.
I'm just going to put the link in the chat.
In the chat for everybody? Okay, yeah, because it is the most important link. But when you go there, you can see that there's even other external funds. So I only mentioned the LAU on this slide, the LAU specific funding opportunities. When you follow the link that Dr. Cory just placed on the chat, it also shows you other external funding opportunities and the deadlines accordingly. So there's two deadlines I would like to mention. If you're interested to register for spring, you would need to apply to LAU by the end of November. So November 30th is the deadline to start spring 2026. If you're interested to start in fall, then you need to register by March. So you have some time, but it's very important to register by the deadlines because the funding opportunities are often tied to these specific deadlines. So you can find out about the deadlines by, again, following the links for applying for graduate studies at LAU. So I'm going to stop here so that we can hear from some of the students and alumni in the program. And then, of course, we'll take your questions as needed.
Great. Well, thank you, Dr. King. So hopefully that brief overview is useful. Of course, all of this information is also available online, or you can message us if you have any questions, and we'll have time for some questions at the end of this session. But first, I'd just like to turn over to three of our alums so that you can hear a little bit from them about what their experience was with the program. So maybe to start with one of our alums from the Interdisciplinary Gender Studies program, we have Sarah Kadura. Sarah, would you want to maybe join and tell us a little bit about your program, with your experience with the program, and also, of course, you're someone who remained active in feminist activism, so maybe also to tell us a bit about how you've continued to use what you picked up on the program in your current work.
Thank you so much, Cory. Thank you, everyone. It's good to be here and hear also about some of the changes in the program and some of the things that I didn't know as well. My name is Sarah Kadura, and I graduated from the Interdisciplinary Gender Studies master's program in 2022. I unfortunately did maybe 2/3 of the program remotely because we had COVID back then. So I missed out on some of the privileges that come with having access to LEU campus as well. But I did my undergraduate at LEU social work. So I'm familiar with some of the facilities, and I want to reiterate what Dr. King was also saying about having, honestly, the privilege of having access to a really great library that I loved so much. and so many other facilities, as well as a really thriving student life. I don't know what it's like right now, but I think also as a graduate from LEU, I had the pleasure to be active in a student life that was thriving. We had so many clubs. We also had we started a intersectional feminist club in 2015. So I also had the chance to participate and make use of the knowledge and support of the Institute for Arab Women Studies. I think it was called the Women's Institute back then. From 2015, and I know how supportive they are and how active they are, and generally how many opportunities they actually provide, and how many beautiful discussions and important discussions you can have on campus in collaboration with the institute and the body of professors. So to say a little bit about the program, we had a really solid team of professors from different backgrounds, and so we had guidance from people with various and diverse backgrounds. So whatever your interests were when you have entered the program, and I know gender seems like, I mean, most of these programs are very general, and you kind of end up narrowing down your research interests or your work interests throughout. So you get the opportunity to narrow that down with the help of the professors. We had a variety of courses that were mentioned. Some were more specialized in terms of subjects that were a bit more specific. Some were focused on theory and on research methods. So we had a good balance, and I think you also have the responsibility as a student, especially starting from the stage of graduate studies. You have the responsibility to kind of choose where you want to invest your labor most in. So I think with the master's program in gender studies, you have a good balance of theory and also of a practice to kind of know better whether you want to pursue a career in academia or a career in something a bit more practical, like NGOs or organizations that work on gender issues, or policy work, etc. So it's kind of made in a way that allows you to choose the path that you want, and to also figure that out better throughout the program. And this program specifically really helps in deconstructing our traditional ways of knowing and learning, and what counts as legitimate knowledge historically. So it has a different way of approaching research that is based on the work of feminists and gender scholars historically, who kind of challenged the traditional ways of learning and of approaching academia and archiving, etc. I also want to mention that for people interested in pursuing this program, I felt like there was no restriction in terms of what background you come from. We had a really diverse group of students in all the classes that I was taking. Many of them came from backgrounds in health, in security, in arts, in sociology, social studies, etc. So there was no limitations. You can bring with you the experience and the background that you have, and hone it with a gender lens that you learn and practice to integrate into your life and into your research throughout the program. Also, in general, I would say I mentioned this briefly, but with this master's degree, you have more pathway options. I think we're all familiar with how bad the job market is today. Um, and the opportunities are getting really limited. So having a master's degree at least gives you some support in that sense, especially again, if you want to either pursue something in academia, or you want to teach, or you want to end up pursuing a PhD. Right now, for example, I started, this is my second year as a PhD candidate at Complutense University in Madrid. And what I'm doing is I'm studying at the Faculty of Sociology, specifically in the Digital Research Methods program. And it's not a gender specific a faculty or program, but I'm bringing that background of gender studies and work within the feminist movement to study specifically the manosphere, so misogyny or manifestations of misogyny online in the last few years. And I published recently a report mapping the manosphere in the Swana region, also with the support of Cory here. I'm launching the report next week on Monday. I can send a link, but I'm giving this as an example of doing a master's degree in gender studies does not necessarily mean that you have to pursue gender specific things in the future, but you can bring this lens and the theories that you have learned and the research methodologies that you have also practiced with you to whichever academic pursuit you want to go after, or a more professional pathway. I'm also doing, at the moment, I'm also managing a political education program with an organization called South Feminist Futures. So my focus in this program is working on bringing different gender and feminist scholars from across the global South to talk about the different work they do and the different theories they also either theorized or study or whatever. But I'm saying that without a master's degree in gender, I also would have less chances of pursuing a managerial or a senior position at an organization that is focused on gender and feminist work. I hope this is helpful in any way, and if anyone has any questions, of course, I'll be happy to answer that.
Thanks so much, Sarah, and Mabruk again on your paper coming out, and please do post the link for your launch event over in the chat. That would be great. So maybe next, let's turn to a recent graduate from our Migration Studies program, Duat Nuruddin, who has also just started a PhD program, so continuing to the next step in academic study. Duat, over to you.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to be in a LAU space, even though I can't say so because I was only there like very recently. So as Cory mentioned, my name is Duat Nuruddin. I'm currently a PhD researcher at the European University Institute. I only started 2 months ago, so I'm very, very new. Just wanted to share a bit about my experience with the migration program. Prior to that, just to draw on that, I have worked in the humanitarian space for a while, specifically in protection with refugees and migrants. So I thought academically it would be a good direction to go into such a program. But I will say something that I had as a fear, and I know people who are working like practitioners generally have like that fear when we go back to academia, is that what if we go into that and it's very theory like oriented and doesn't really connect with what is happening like around. So I was very surprised, pleasantly surprised when I started the program, how yes, it's very much theoretically grounded, like and it has so much theory in depth, but most of the conversations that we were having and that were being unpacked during like the classes were very much connected to real-time events that are happening, especially knowing our region is very active and we constantly have certain things going about. So it was just so great to see that We were not really working in silos on anything. We were connected the whole time. And that for me honestly strengthened what I was doing in the protection space as somebody who was at the time like a gender-based violence specialist with like migrants and refugees. There are so many things that I was able to like be informed by the program itself. I also just wanted to share something that I think really helped me and got me to where I am now with a PhD, is that when you write like really interesting papers, like the professors that are on board really help guide you to turn these into like article blogs, which I managed to also like publish with the Institute. And that was also like added in a sense to my experience in writing and knowing how to focus on research and even translate what we see, whether in field or even like in terms of certain ideas we come about in the program, into something that we can actually publish. So this was one of the great things that I was able to also like get out of. I was also able to be connected to so many different researchers through the program, through workshops that was like mentioned at the very beginning. I also managed to do a project on diaspora communities with another university that was connected like to me through LAU. So what like was so intriguing about the program in particular is that like how much it connects you to like other institutions and other programs, and opens opportunities that you really do not expect. I will also want to add that because of the program and the professors basically grounding in what's happening around, and also like being very much interdisciplinary, it also helps us come up with like niche topics and topics that are actually interesting and relevant. And for me, this was essential for my acceptance to the program that I'm in now, because it is a scholarship program and it's very, very competitive. And one of the most important things is the proposal and the topic that you would have. And I think having that advantage came from being so immersed in the program, and where we're basically constantly exploring different sides to the topics that we generally have, or like topics that are like in the program. I also want to add that because of that in particular, apart from my work in the humanitarian space, I was able to like now like manage a working group when it comes to research, even at the university that I'm at, because of the work that was already like done during my years at LAU. I will also just want to like add, like as a final point to the points that I've mentioned earlier, is that like my acceptance to the program kind of came also like as like a major like surprise, but at the same time I had limited time to like get everything done. There was so much for my research to be like refined and like fine-tuned, and I had Dr. Cory as my advisor at the time. So just having like really like your professor or your advisor, and even the committee, Dr. Zina and Dr. Jasmine, who were also on board, support every step of the way and help you like, not only for me, it wasn't fine-tuning, it was really like refining the whole project, is something that you should definitely consider when applying to any program. And that is something that was available at LAU. So yeah, these are mainly the points that I wanted to share. And I'm also more than happy to share my contact if somebody also has any specific questions regarding the program or anything else. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Dua. And congrats again to you on your getting into this doctoral program. I was hoping we'd have a view of the Medici Gardens behind you at EUI or something, but this works. So
I was planning on doing that because honestly, it's beautiful, but I did get a bit sick, so I had to stay at home.
Salam.
Next time.
But thanks so much for speaking for us despite being ill. But thanks, Dua. So last but certainly not least, we have Maya Hariri from the Multimedia Journalism program. So I'll hand over to you, Maya.
Thank you, Dr. Rodgers. Let me just turn on my, okay, make sure your camera device. For some reason, I don't know why my camera keeps on not working, but I'm here with you guys. So I'm sorry for not having my camera on, it's not working. My name is Maya, and I graduated from the MA in Multimedia Journalism in 2023. I'm going to walk you through a bit of my journey in the MA program and then how it impacted my career and my identity. So just to start with my expectations of the program, I did apply for the MA program 7 years after I finished my BA and diploma. So I had like a big gap. And the most challenging part was going back to academia, although I really knew that I wanted that, but it wasn't easy at the beginning. But it was extremely rewarding. And the courses really were like, I think a lot of people think that the master's is just a replication of a BA, but you're going just more into like deeper research. But I didn't think, and I didn't feel the same. I felt like I really saw things from a different perspective. I really like a lot of courses just they have so much impact on me. I think of them, I think of everything I learned in them until today. Like one of the most rewarding courses for me was Media in Palestine. Everything I learned about the media in Palestine was from this course. And after that course, I was so interested in the topic and in the in like media and journalism, and how media is how like Palestine is represented in the media. Another rewarding course for me was the pedagogy course that Dr. King was talking about. I felt like we learned about different types of teaching methods and active learning. We applied them, and happily I'm now teaching at LEU, and I'm applying everything, or hopefully everything I learned from that course. So it felt like I did something, I studied it, and then I applied it, and that's very rewarding. Some like key skills that I gained were really critical thinking, research. I stress on the word critical because a lot of times everything we wrote, we had to go back and like rewrite them, and you like the professors really pushed us to be more and more and more critical, which was something I think was missing in my BA, and I love that about the MA program. It's really like more research driven. It's more independent. On the personal side, I had like 2 kids at the time, so it was a bit hard at the beginning to balance students with life and work. But I really learned like a lot of time management and self-discipline skills, and I built on that. And happily, it opened a lot of opportunities for me in my career right now. And I did pursue a project track, so I went for the professional track. However, I also wrote a paper with Dr. Milky and a few other colleagues, and I learned a lot about research. I learned it firsthand. I tried to write papers. We published one paper together, and until today, I'm very grateful to Dr. King, Dr. Yajik, and Dr. Milky because they still push me to write. Unfortunately, I don't have enough time right now to continue my PhD, but I do want to continue. And Dua, you just encouraged me so much. So I do want to continue my PhD, and I think the MA program gives you both opportunities. Like if you want to go to a professional field, you can. If you want to go pursue your PhD, you can. And currently I am teaching at LEU. I'm an instructor. I teach media studies course called JSC 200, and Dr. King gave me the opportunity to help her create this course, and it was such a big lesson for me because I learned more about the topic of media literacy. I got engaged in the course and teaching it and learning from students as well, and like every single semester updating the course and updating the syllabus has really like given me a constant learning experience. And I currently teach Com 203 as well, which is the art of public speaking, and everything I learned from the masters is somehow like intertwined with the course as well. I don't know how to explain it. So if I want to tell you how this masters shaped my like teaching career, if you want, and how my approach to media, it really opened up a lot of doors for me academically, professionally. I even applied to some part-time jobs right now because I feel like I have like more room to do a part-time job with my teaching job. And every single time I walk into an interview or a meeting and I kind of like mention stuff that I learned from my MA, every single interviewer actually would be extremely impressed with what we learned. And I think it's an excellent program. It is demanding, but honestly, it's all worth it. And I'm really grateful to have been part of this cohort. So thank you for having me here, and I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Great, thanks, Maya. And as Dr. King had mentioned, the multimedia journalism program does include this sort of media pedagogy aspect, so that if anyone does want to continue with teaching afterward, they're prepared to do it. And I think it's great to hear from you, Maya, because you have been able to put that to use. So now everyone has, you've had a chance to hear from us, the faculty, about the programs. You've had a chance to hear from some of our alumni about their experiences on these three programs. At this point, I'd like to open up, and if anyone has any questions you'd like to ask, we're all ears and we're here to answer. And I will also, in case anyone's shy to do it on the recording, I will also turn off the recording now.
Hey, Cory, before you hit that stop button.
Yes, okay.
Can I before you stop recording, can I just invite any of the students, because we have Rami, I see, and Rami, we have Rami. Do you have any words of encouragement for someone who is thinking of applying but hasn't yet decided to commit to pursuing a master's degree? What would you say to that person who's still thinking, Rami?
Hi, Dr. Gretchen. How are you?
I'm okay, Rami. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
what would you say? What would your advice be to that person who's still on the fence?
Honestly, like, I mean, I'm a student of migration studies, but I'm also a GRS scholar. So, I think it's such a privilege for me. Like, the application process was like relatively easy, and I get to do a master's that's fully funded, and I don't think everyone has that opportunity. And at the same time, I'm very privileged to have such a welcoming and hospitable faculty. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, everyone's kind of helpful, and they're always on board if you want to do research or if you want to get published. And I think it opens a lot of doors for people. So I don't know, like at the time I used to be like my background's in psychology, but I'm studying migration now. It's very much often inspired by the work that I used to do with migrants before, specifically children, but um the reason why I couldn't find a program that I wanted in psychology, and I found this program that was amazing and something I'm interested in, and I was like, yeah, you know what, why not? And I applied, and I got it, and I got a scholarship, and I was like, amazing. And honestly, I'm so happy. Like, it's a different way of seeing things. Like, maybe it's less psychology, more politics, but it's like still within the field, and it's very realistic. Like, exactly so to the point that I think Dua made about the how the classes are very much related to our day-to-day politics and what's going on in the country, in the region. But also, there's always this gender lens, and a lot of our classes are also joint with like gender classes, and also come in if you guys ever are interested in certain methodologies like visual methodologies. Like Dr. Gretchen can help you with that. She's always been helpful with anything that's related to media analysis or communication analysis, because that is her field. But yeah, like generally, like very helpful faculty. It's my first semester so far, very chill. Coursework. So I enjoy it, and I would recommend it for someone who's a bit confused about what they want to do. Just apply, and you'll kind of take decision from there on. Apply for the scholarship because it really, really, really like makes things easier for you. And it's hard to find a fully funded master's, and I'd say the application process is relatively easy.
Thank you for that, Rami. And I just want to assert that the scholarship that Rami is describing, the GRS, the Graduate Research Scholarship, is actually open now for applications. And that deadline is in March. And it's to support students who will be beginning their master's program in fall. So if you are interested in applying for spring, the funding opportunities that you would have access to for spring, so applying before the November 30th deadline for spring, is the Graduate Assistantship and the Graduate Research Fellowship. So the GA and the GRF. And of course, there's too many acronyms. They all start with G. Please come see me if you have any questions.